Good morning, my relatives. Hello. I just gave you an introduction in the Dakota language. And the Dakota language is from Minnesota Makoche, where my people have lived for over 14,000 years. And that language reflects the history of place. And so it's really, really important to know language. And so what I said is, my name is Ramona Kitto Stately. That's what I'm called. Language, it says, you state your spirit name as who I am. So Iupse wing miee, it means I am the woman who is described as like that sits in the back of the canoe or that holds the reins if you're riding a horse. So imagine that person is steering or guiding the way. And it doesn't mean bossy. Hey. But it's that woman, right? That is like guiding the way. So in our language, it's really important to know I'm called this, but this is who I am. And always in our language, we refer strongly to who we are and this strength of this power and this energy of where we stand as a person, and then how we communicate energy to others. So this baby is causing her to be powerful. And I was talking last night too about our thoughts about children. Our word for child is wakanheja. Wakan means something sacred, something spiritual, something that is so immense and powerful. And that's that child, that wakanheja. And so in our words, we have that. So Jillian, this is Jillian's Mother's Day card to me. It's my daughter, Jillian. Thank you, Jillian. And we did a little other thing with that too. So language holds the key to cultural values. So I was invited here to talk about healing, right? What does healing look like? Sometimes we think of it and try to box it into something, but it's not something we can box. It's something that makes us feel good, right? Healing can be a lot of things. But I know that I moved from Florida to Minnesota to learn my Dakota language. We did a lot of family research, and we actually could not continue on our research without reading my great-great-grandfather's letters, and they were in Dakota, right? So language, what I learned is that this is the key to learning everything else, even if it's learning the word to a pregnant woman, right? All those things that we use are healing. Learning how to tell a baby not to cry in your language, important. It was important to my children, and me not knowing that, just learning, was very, very healing. When we say hami takuyepi, just the word hello in our language teaches us so much about our cultural values and our life ways, because it doesn't mean hello. It means I am related to everything that is alive. That means the trees and the birds. And imagine in that greeting, bringing up a child and them understanding that greeting means I am related to all these medicines, the water, the birds, that those children make very different decisions, right, about the world. Just understanding that one thing, that one hello. Powerful connection to culture is the language. This is Jillian. Hey, Jillian's the theme. Iok opa. So for thousands of years, people have been using something to hold and protect a child, right? Something. We had the cradle board, and across the United States, you can see really similar cradle boards for holding a child. They have like this roll bar in case it falls, right? But the difference amongst different tribes is really what it's made of. What kind of trees are indigenous to your area, right? But a lot of the things are the same. This roll bar, hanging these beautiful little trinkets. Those don't come until baby are born. And you carry that like here, you just carry it. Baby can always see you, is always at eye level with you, or it's on your back, or it's hanging in a place that's the baby is eye level. But the purpose of that is that you never look down on that child. Never look down on that child, right? It's so beautiful and intentional. These come later when the baby is born and you take that baby out into public. People hang gifts there for baby, but it also helps to aid in that hand-eye coordination, right? The baby can reach out and play with those things. You know, here's a dream catcher, and this is like the little lady dancing. This is an umbilical pouch, which is sewn in. Their umbilical, the baby's umbilical is sewn into this pouch. It matches a constellation right above us in Minnesota. It's called Kea, so it's a turtle. And think about a turtle. It carries its home on its back, right? It's very indicative of women, our cycles. And so we would sew baby's umbilical in there when that umbilical falls off, which is really kind of scary because you know when that umbilical falls off, you never know when it's going to happen. So we have to okay, we can't go out for the next 2 days because the umbilical is going to fall off. But we sew it into this pouch, and what that does is so the baby is disconnected from mom, and then it's reconnected to the universe here, and that's that star knowledge. And there's a lot of stories about how we get back there, but that's on there for baby. So when whites came to America, they would say, hey, that's a really beautiful song that you're singing for your baby. What is it? Because Native women, while they worked, they would hang the cradle in the tree, hang it there, and then they'd just push it now and then, and it would keep baby happy. And so they say, what is that song you sing? And so they translated it. And this song is like, it's woven into American, you know, what do you call it, culture, as this rockabye baby song. But if you listen to it, it makes no sense. Why would the cradle be in the tree? When we think about today time, right? If a child sang that today, it wouldn't make sense. But it does if you see the cradle and where that song came from. And, oh yeah, so I put this in there because this is a symbol. We have a lot of symbolism, right? But everything is cyclical, everything is circular. And we use a lot of different symbolism that shows that, and especially colors as well. We like those colors reflect our seasons, our 4 directions. And also you'll see this symbol a lot, and it was kind of taken by like Christian people who wanted to what's the word? Assimilate, yeah, Native people. And so they took this and they turned it upside down so it looks like a cross in the middle, right? But actually it was an X, which is what it is. The top, that white reflects, and there's so many lessons. We could do a whole week on these colors. But the white is reflective of the north, also, you know, the winter time, things that are sacred. White is always things that are sacred. Family, love, friendships, right? And also the sacredness of our own understanding how to take care of ourselves, which is like we look at nature to tell us what to do. And when everything freezes and everything stops, we're supposed to. We're supposed to do that. We don't do that. We're busy all the time, aren't we? But yellow is spring, red is summer, black. It's such a wonderful teaching to teach people to say, you know what, there are things that you don't know. You just don't know. And guess what? It's okay. But we grow up in a very competitive society where we're supposed to know it all. And so we have a space when we think about this circle of life, this hochoka, where it's okay not to know. We just don't know. We call it the great mystery. And it's okay. And at some point, it will reveal itself. Also, when we think about a circle, I love this group, using this group as an example, because we see each other all these next couple of days, right? We see a lot of you, same faces, yet there's a different person up here. And that's what leadership is. It's not just having this one person that's really important that's going to tell it all. It's that we all have things to share with each other. And so that's healthy leadership, is that we want to know what every person here has to share with the group. And then we go back to the circle, and then we're all the same again. And so what we do is we utilize our expertise when it's needed. Otherwise, we're back in community. And I love that idea. So I wanted to put that in there because I see this working in this group. And all of these are healing things. We honor our winuchada, our wichashtada. That's a Dakota word for our elders. So when we talk about an elder woman, winuchada, we're describing them as fully blossomed. And I love that. Our men, fully blossomed. And we know that that's at your, at your very most beautiful. And so we honor our elders. And where we come from, and I don't know if it's like here, but where we come from, our elderly centers are packed. People just send their elders off to for someone else to take care of, pretty much. And recently, I've had an experience with taking care of an elder. So, I know it's such a hard job. So I'm not saying I'm not judging, but I'm saying that we do it a lot in America, and it's not the black and brown people, and it's not the indigenous people. It's the white people that are filling up those homes and sending their elders off. And we really, like, I've heard people talk about, when we recently had a presidential vote about, the age of the person. Well, God, they're too old to be, a great president. So anyway, I feel like we don't honor people's knowledge as much as we should. Oh, I love this. So we have these beautiful relatives in Minnesota, and it's this. This is the white birch. We call it chanhasan, which is telling us that the sugar sap flows through this tree. So this is where we get the maple syrup, and it's really a predominant woodland tree. And let's see, what else does it say? Yeah, there's so many different great medicinal qualities of this birch, and even making the canoes. And you can only peel this tree a certain number of times. There's a lot of rules about how to harvest the bark from it, but it is really indicative of the Plains, Ojibwe, and Dakota people from our area. This is my favorite tree. It is the most beautiful tree. It's called the cottonwood. We call it wagacha, and they grow all along the Mississippi River. So that's where they grow. You can see them line the Mississippi River, and we have the headwaters, right? We experienced the water yesterday that he smuggled in. But they're all along the Mississippi River, these beautiful trees. And when people came to America, they had no idea of this knowledge, this history, and the people who were here, or didn't care, because it was like, we're going to clear the land of the people and we're going to take the land. And so we have all these beautiful relationships. So this is our tree. This tree because it's in the river valleys, it mitigates flooding. This tree can suck up 200 gallons of water a day, and they're all up and down the river. So it helps to stop the flooding. It also, even though the roots only go up to a certain like 40 feet, these trees are 200 feet, and it will bring the water up and then expirate through the leaves, cleans the air, it cleans the river valley. And they're also, we call them our doctoring trees. So they have these roots and they go out and they feel around and they check the health of all the other plants near them. And if they find a plant that's sick, it will go and get what it needs and bring it to them, right? Even to their own deficit. So sometimes you'll see these trees and they look dead. And they've asked, especially up in northern Minnesota, I don't know if you noticed they look not very healthy right now. But they asked the Ojibwe tribe, should we just cut these down? They're like, no, don't, leave them be. And they doctor themselves then. So this tree is so amazing. This is our tree that we have the oldest ceremony on our continent, the Sundance. And this is the tree that we use for Sundance. It has so many medicinal ways, like you can boil the bark. And anytime you see a tree with that real deep crevices on the bark, you can boil those for skin stuff, right? There's all kinds of interesting ways to understand the medicines. And I guess someone's going to teach us that. But this is an amazing tree. So we cut these trees down. We'll cut one down, and then we have a whole ceremony about cutting it down. We start with our Wakaheja. They do the first cuts. The tree is never allowed to touch the ground. So it's a beautiful ceremony that we do when we cut this tree down, and we carry it. It never touches the ground to the Sundance place. It's just a whole beautiful thing. But these are our medicines. And all of these different things that we do when we learn, like we did last night, when we learn one more thing about who we are and our identity, is what healing looks like. When we're having conversations and sharing information today, this is what healing looks like. It's not a separate thing. And it's important because I think it took me a long time to figure that out, that all of these little things, when I hear my daughter share a story of something that she learned, it helps me to know that, oh my goodness, not only we're recognizing, number one, that we need some healing, and we always do, but number two is that a lot of the things that we do it's just what healing looks like. So, Wagacha. What about it? Oh yeah. Thank you. See, so these trees line the Mississippi. Our Indian mounds, our burial mounds line the Mississippi. They're all along the Mississippi and the Minnesota rivers, along the top of the bluffs. And then above that is the Wanagi Tachanku, which we call the Milky Way. And the Irish have similar stories to that. So if you cut this branch inside is a star, and it's reminding us that this is where the Milky Way is. So it's just amazing. You know, those little things that we learn about the placement of things where they are on the earth. It's telling us a story without the words. And this is Mani. Mani is our word for water. If we separate those three letters, Ni on its own means our life force. So it's telling us, without this water, we can't live. We can't live, yet our water is so polluted. I don't know how it is here, but I know in Minnesota, totally polluted. And we are the keepers in Minnesota. We are the keepers of the beginning of the Mississippi River, and we're polluting it. So we might live a little longer than those downriver, but we have to raise conscientious children that understand this is your relative. You can't live without the water. And what's really sad is that this language was banned until 1978, until religious freedom. We couldn't even use this language. So people in Minnesota don't recognize the importance of it yet, but we're making strides. This is the turtle. We call this Turtle Island where we live. But also, when we look at the turtle, which is, remember I said the constellation for the babies thing? This is what's on the back of a turtle. So this is 13 moons. So we have 13 moons. We call the 13th the blue moon, right? Because it doesn't match the Gregorian calendar. But this is our indigenous calendar. There are 13 moons, and there are 28 days that separate those 13 moons. And this is the cycle of a woman. This is the women's cycle. And so this turtle reminds us of that just by the symbols on its back. There she is. Her regalia is, we were going to dance with the kids, but her regalia is like being finished right now. Wicha hunkake. I am because my ancestors were. And it's really, so it feels so good to know that and to keep that in the back of your mind, that we stand strong, especially as Dakota people. You know, there was a price on our heads. You know, if you kill a Dakota, you could get 30 acres of land, you know, and those farmlands are spotted all across the country, or the countryside in Minnesota. So we know that our relatives paid for those. And so to know that we have reconnected, we were able to remember Kiksuye, those ancient ways, and use them even today. They're no different. We have 11 tribal nations in Minnesota. They are the 14th largest employer in the state, making decisions just like always. And the decisions are based on this statement: so the people can live. Making decisions so the people can live. Our tribal nations do not make decisions so the Indian people can live or so the white people can live. So the people can live. So we have one of the richest tribes in the country is in Minnesota, and they have the cleanest water in the entire state, which should be a basic human right, right? But they are also helping the adjacent communities create their own clean water. And I think one of the sad things is, once we raise a generation of people who don't like Native people because they learn they're savage, they're not as smart as us, they're whatever, number one, it allows you to harm them, and number two, once that stereotype becomes solid, people will never see you differently. They'll never see you differently. So when I ask the general public in Minnesota, did you know that our tribes are the 11th largest employer, that our tribes are the second largest tourism draw to your state? They're like, what? We just thought that you lived in teepees on reservations. But our people still maintain the values and their knowledge, and still run their business that way, and are still doing great things for our state, even though, you know, we're looked at as a novelty, or as not, Indians aren't really here anymore, or you don't look like an Indian, things like that. So we have to fight those stereotypes as well. But these ways are powerful. So we don't care about what people think. What we care about is what we think and how we feel, and that these ways help us to stand, you know, really strong in our own power. So, is that my last one? Yeah. Woapye, healing. So that's all I have for you. And